How's it going, guys? The new BMW M5 was going to be my next car, the replacement for the Model S Plaid. But for these 5 reasons, tragically, and I really wanted this car, I'm not gonna buy one. First up is the engine. I was so excited for this. It was obvious that they were going hybrid. And I figured it was already 600 plus horsepower. They added a couple electric motors, given the fact that things like this Tesla Plaid are 1,000 plus horsepower, they would make it 800, 900, or maybe even they'd go crazy and make the new BMW M5 1,000 horsepower. But unfortunately, that couldn't be farther from the truth. Instead, they've basically slapped the XM powertrain inside of the new M5 and called it new. So we've got a 4.4 liter twin turbocharged V8, awesome, with an electric motor making a combined output of 717 horsepower and 737 pound-feet of torque. Now, those are impressive numbers, but in today's day and age, with cars like the one I'm driving making over 1,000, I was expecting something a little more. And considering the fact that that's XM numbers, how are they releasing this as a new car and it's already kind of behind? Now look, it's ridiculous that we live in a world where 717 horsepower feels underwhelming, but it's more the fact that it feels a bit lazy given the fact that the powertrain already existed. Yep, that is way cooler than the new M5. Part of what made the BMW M5s of the past so incredible were their engines. The E39 M5 had a screaming naturally aspirated V8, the E60 had a Formula One derived V10, and now we've got the same thing that's in a family SUV. Make that make sense. Now, horsepower numbers are only half the battle. If it had 717 horsepower, honestly, that's a lot. But the problem is, it weighs so much, it actually has me wondering how BMW has possibly released this car this way. At 5,390 pounds, it weighs 700 pounds more than this massive all-electric family sedan that has tons of batteries, making it weigh 1,000,000 pounds. I don't understand how the new M5 is heavier than an all-electric car. The new M5 is 1,153 pounds heavier than the previous generation M5, which is a gain that I wish was a horsepower figure and not a weight figure. And if you compare it to the E39 M5, which was the M5 that I started this channel with, it weighs 1,500 pounds more than the E39 M5. That's essentially taking an E39 and strapping a stripped out Mazda Miata to the roof of it. And then you get that crazy 5,400 pound curb weight. To put things into perspective, here are some cars that the new M5 is heavier than, that no sports car, sports sedan, should ever be even remotely close to as heavy, let alone heavier. It's heavier than a Rolls-Royce Ghost. Yes, that's right. The most comfortable sedan in the world, made for luxury, is lighter than what's supposed to be a track-focused performance sedan. It is heavier than a Chevy Tahoe, a massive SUV, and it's also heavier than a Mercedes Maybach. I just don't get it, BMW. As all of you guys watching know, power to weight ratio is extraordinarily important, and the end result is a 0 to 60 time of 3.4 seconds, which is a half a second slower than the previous generation car. Make this make sense to me. The new M5 is half a second slower to 60 than the old M5. And all you get is 25 miles of electric range. It's not like you're getting 300 miles of electric range, but even still, we'd rather have performance figures. Who cares about the electric range? You know, I was feeling bad talking about the Plaid, saying, oh, I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna go back to an internal combustion engine car. But man, I really hope the new E63 puts the M5 to shame, because I am just confused. Fourth up is the way the car looks. How have we come to a point where a Tesla Model S is better looking than a BMW M5? That doesn't make any sense in the world. Now, when I first saw the car, I actually thought every angle on it was extremely ugly. It has grown on me pretty quickly from the front, but the side and the rear, I just hate it. One of the M5's signature design elements from the E60 onwards was the little vents on the side of the car. Well, BMW has decided to get rid of heritage in favor of having that the location of where you plug the car into the wall. which nobody asked for in a BMW M5. And the rear looks kind of like a cross between a BMW M2 and the new 7 Series, and that is not a compliment. Oh, look at that, the new BMW M5 ahead of me. This one might be lighter, actually. And so it begins. Ford products at a Tesla charger. Now look, this actually all comes from a place of love because I really want BMW to get their shit together. BMW is the brand that made me fall in love with cars. BMW was my first car, BMW was my second car, the E39 M5 started the channel. I love BMW M, but recently the brand has been really disappointing me, and I hope that they can get back to their ways. They need to make things like the M5 smaller and lighter. Don't even increase the horsepower number. Just make the thing 4,000 pounds or less. We want a more raw, more intense driving sedan. We don't want it heavier with more tech, where it basically becomes a 7 Series with an M5 badge on it. And the last thing I don't like about the car is the transmission. They claim that the power is too much for a dual clutch transmission, but we've seen cars like the Revuelto has a dual clutch with 1,000 horsepower. We've seen the Mercedes E63 had a multi-clutch transmission, the last generation, or I guess current-ish generation car. So putting a conventional automatic just makes no sense, and it makes the shifts much more underwhelming. BMW, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but I'm also not sorry. Please, make the M5 better. I actually love this little EV so much, it's ridiculous. I drove it and reviewed it on the press launch, then I drove it again on the Nürburgring, and I still liked it enough to ask for it for a week as a press car, because it handles so well, and the shiftable electric vehicle platform is just such a cool concept. And I think a lot of EVs going forward are gonna copy Hyundai's setup. Supersonic mode is so funny. Another thing I really like is it has very good lane keep assist. So this thing can effectively drive itself just like a Tesla. And it also has some awesome storage capability. This area is perfect for my vlog camera. It's got a charging pad right here. And then there's a massive section down here where you can put drinks. Hyundai had a cool strategy with this car. Instead of giving it a frunk, they put most of the electronics and cooling mechanisms in the front, meaning the center tunnel through the car doesn't have to have those battery packs and extra electronics, so you've got a lot more space in the cabin. The rear seat environment, I sat back there for the first time, it's ridiculous. You can be 6'5" driving this car with somebody who's 6'5" behind you comfortably. Listen to those backfires. The incredible part is when you first get into the 5N, it doesn't actually do any burbles or cracks. It waits as if it's an internal combustion engine car that needs to heat up the exhaust to cause those explosions, which is just really well thought out. Pulling back up, got my friend Tony's Hummer EV here.
It's crazy because no one hears it. It sounds so loud, but no one hears it.
Well, you can turn the outside speakers on or off. It has speakers on the outside of the car.
Where's the gas for this thing? Where do you put the gas in?
Oh, I really like it.
It's actually pretty sick.
It has
I honestly think this is the coolest car I've ever been in.
Are you serious?
Dude, what is this thing?
All right, from one EV to the next.
Is this gonna be like a Hellcat situation? Wait, hold on.
I will say the ambient lighting in this thing is pretty nice as well, and there are a ton of different color options. We've got some preset colors, but if you go in right here, then you've got an infinite color wheel. I've actually shown a fair amount of people this car off camera, and pretty much everybody has been overly impressed. I don't know what it is about this thing. I feel like it's just like the underdog that it's really exciting to watch it win. Hyundai did a really good job with this car, and I know a lot of people are gonna think it's a Hyundai, it's an EV, is it really that great? Get behind the wheel, you tell me. It's pretty impressive. All right, so this is actually my first time ever charging an EV that's not a Tesla, and I have to say this is probably the least user-friendly experience I have ever seen. I'm at Electrify America, and 2 of the 4 chargers are broken. One of the credit card readers is broken. I had to sign up for an account and a membership just to plug this thing in. They need to make this way easier. Now, this isn't car related, but I feel like back in the day with the vlogs, I used to talk to you guys about just random life stuff. So I've finally committed to health and fitness. I've been eating well, and I've gone to the gym about 100 days in a row. And I've been struggling with weight loss and being overweight for years and years and years. And the only thing that actually helped was to try to go every single day, even if it was just for 10 or 15 minutes. We're creatures of habit, so all of a sudden, if you've gone and done something 7 days in a row, it just becomes part of your life, and then you start feeling like if you don't go, there's a problem. Obviously, I started maybe 15, 20 minutes, and now I've worked up to an hour each time, but I've been having an absolute blast. I've got a long way to go, obviously, but man, for mental health, clarity, it's just so good in so many ways. And I guess technically, it's weight reduction, so you go faster. Oh my gosh, the spec on this Turbo GT, it's purple with bronze wheels. Damn, it sounds like it has an exhaust leak. That thing is sick though. Wow.